Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Elise and I hope you're all doing so good today. Today we're going to be talking about my August TBR. I don't even know how it's already August. I don't know what's happening anymore, but I have so many books I want to read before the end of the year. So in this TBR, I'm going to go over what I'm planning on reading in August. So let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to start with the ones I know I'm for sure reading, and then I'll go into the ones that are more questionable. I am going to try and read all of these, but I inevitably end up mood reading a little bit, so we'll see. But I'm going to start with the ones I'm reading for sure. The first one is a nonfiction, and that is Say Nothing, a true story of murder and memory in Northern Ireland by Patrick Radden Keith, and this is published by Anchor Books. And this is a freaking chunkster. It does not seem that long, but this book is so heavy. Like, the pages are thin and there must be so much ink in here because it is like so heavy. This one I will for sure be reading because I'm reading it with my partner. Every year we do like a mini book club where we read a book together and discuss, and they only read nonfiction. So this is the pick for this year. This one follows a 38-year-old mother of 10 children who was murdered by like masked intruders, and nobody ever saw her again. And so that's kind of the true crime case that is getting explored. And then surrounding that, the author is also exploring like the troubles, so the conflict in Northern Ireland and the aftermath that the case had in that area at the time. So it's kind of weaving the two stories together. So it sounds very intriguing. It's had a lot of praise, and this book came out a while ago. Let's see when it was published. This was published in 2019. And I'm really excited to read this. I've heard great things. So that is Say Nothing. The other three that I will definitely be getting to, because I'm going to be reading them in a video together, are these three books. So the first one is Celestial Bodies. This is by Joka Alarathi, and this won the Man Booker International Prize a few years ago. And this is translated from the Arabic by Marilyn Booth, and this is by Catapult Books. And this book follows three sisters, one who marries after she has a heartbreak, one who aspires to have a different kind of life outside of marriage, and then the other who chooses to refuse all their marriage offers and proposals and awaits a reunion with a man that she loves and who has immigrated to Canada. So it's following all three of their stories. I think this is gonna, explore sisterhood, womanhood, the kind of choice around marriage that a lot of people have to make, especially that a lot of women would have to make in Oman, which is where the story takes place. So I'm very intrigued about this. It's also Women in Translation Month in August, so I'm trying to put a bunch of women in translation on my TBR, so this is one of them. The next one for that video is Dead Souls by Sam Riviere, and this one follows a poet who is involved in a plagiarism scandal, and they meet an unnamed narrator who is going to write about their story. And so they start telling them about the ups and downs of their literary career, and this follows themes about like plagiarism. I believe there's affairs in here, there's feuds, cancellation, revenge, and it's exploring how writing can alter reality. So very intrigued about this. Stunning cover, and this is by Catapult Books. The last one for that video is another woman in translation, and that is Portrait of an Unknown Lady by Maria Gainza, and this is translated from the Spanish by Thomas Bunstead, and this is published by, you guessed it, Catapult Books. So I'm doing a publisher taste test video on Catapult Books, so that's what I'll be reading these three for, so look forward to that. I'm very excited to start my publisher series. I've been wanting to do this since I started book 2. which isn't that long ago, it's like a month ago, but still. So I'm excited to start that series, and I'm wanting to alternate between indie and bigger publishers, and Catapult Books is an indie publisher. Woo! I just had a sneezing fit. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm back. So this book is similar to the previous book in a couple of themes, but this follows an art forger who's like world renowned, like an amazing art forger, and they forge these specific paintings by Mariette Lidis, who's an Argentinian painter. And then it also follows the perspective of an art critic who becomes obsessed with figuring out who the forger is. And I think this is exploring what it means to have authenticity in art, and is questioning that concept. So this sounds very intriguing. Another woman in translation, so I'm excited to read this. And then the other book I know for sure I'll be reading is Women Eating, and this is by Claire Coda, and I don't know who publishes this off the top of my head, so I will insert it. But this one is like a modern vampire novel that lots of people have been reading lately. I know it's very like slow paced. It's just a slice of life story about this woman young woman who is coming to terms with living away from her vampire mother. So she's half vampire, half human. And I think this is like a play on, what it means to be biracial, and we'll be exploring some of those themes. And she has a lot of mixed feelings about her vampire side because her mother has a lot of complicated feelings about being a vampire. She thinks vampires are evil, so she's sort of inherited that trauma in a sense, and that self-hatred. So she's coming to terms with being a vampire and how she finds blood to keep her alive now that she's living on her own. So that's that story. I'm very excited to read that and see what all the hype is about. The other two books that I'm officially putting on my TBR are Mrs. March by Virginia Fato, and this is published by Liverlight Publishing, and this is a literary suspense novel about a woman whose husband is a writer, and she's at the store one day, and the store clerk says oh, have you read your husband's latest novel? Because I think he based the main character off of you. And Mrs. March has never read her husband's works, but she does know that the main character in his current novel is supposed to be horrendous, like a horrendous human being. And so she starts to become obsessed with figuring out if the character is based on her and what's going on with her relationship with her husband, and she's questioning lots of things, and I think she's slowly starting to unravel a bit. So this sounds very intriguing. I'm excited to see what this one is about. And the last one on my official TBR is Women Don't Owe You Pretty, and this is another nonfiction, and this has graphics in it, as well as I think essays basically on feminism. And this says this is for anyone who wants to challenge outdated narratives that are supplied to us by the patriarchy. So I'm very intrigued to see what this is about. I like that it has sort of mixed media in it. I'm in the mood for that right now. So I'm hoping that this will be good. And look at the end papers on this, whoa. Love it, love it. A questionable on my TBR is gonna be Breasts and Eggs by Miko Kawakami. And this is published by Europa and translated. I wish they would put the translators on the cover. I never get that. Why are we not doing that? This is translated from the Japanese by Sam Bett and David Boyd, who I think have translated her previous number of novels. And this one I also want to read because it's Women in Translation Month. I have tons of books on my shelves by Women in Translation, but I've had this one for a while. But it's so long. It's so long. So I don't know if realistically I'm going to have time to get to this. But this is the novel that she's most well known for, I think. I think she won a literary prize for it in Japan. I know Heaven was just nominated for the International Booker. But this one follows Makiko, and she's traveling to where her sister lives, and she has her daughter with her who has grown silent all of a sudden, and she's finding herself unable to voice like the overwhelming pressures that come with becoming an adolescent. So this story follows all three women, Makiko, her sister, and her daughter, and it also, I think, explores class. So the sister lives in a working class neighborhood of Tokyo, and I think we explore each of their backstories and how we got to where they are. So I am intrigued about this. I think it will be like slower paced, but I think that will be nice, getting to really dive into all three of these characters. So that is Breasts and Eggs. I do have a few others that I'm thinking about for the month, but I already have like 9 books on my potential TBR. So we'll see if I get to them, and I'm sure I'll read some other things that I wasn't anticipating. But yeah, that is my TBR for August. If you're planning on reading any of these, please let me know, or if you've already read them, let me know what you thought about them down below in the comments. And also let me know what you're going to be reading in August. I'm very intrigued. Always want more recommendations, as if I need more books, but like I love them. So tell me more books to buy, please. So I'll see you all next time. Hope you have a good one. Bye.